Hello, welcome to Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDOstream. I'm your community manager, Kurt Oven. I'll be with you for the next hour. Got a little bit of news, and then we're going to be running the new quest. That's what we are up to on this Friday. Next Friday, I will not be here because I might be hanging out with you. If you're going to be in the Boston area on Friday, that would be May 9th. I'm not doing a show next week because I'm going to be at PAX East, and we're doing a community meetup at the Harpoon Brewery, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern, Friday, May 7th. You can still RSVP if you're hearing this and it's not then. You can find that RSVP over on DDO.com. Just look for the PAX East community meetup article. And it should be a good time. We've got a bunch of people from the team that are going to be there. I'll be there. We've got a little bit of DDO swag as well. So maybe you'll be there. And there is parking near there as well. It's Boston priced parking. Please be aware of that. But there is parking there, but it's also very easily accessible by public transit. So either of those options are there for you if you want to. But because of that, I'm not going to be here next Friday at 4 because I will be in downtown Boston is where I will be. So that'll be fun, though. That's going to be really great. We're not presenting at PAX East this year. We didn't get a slot. You know, you apply, you try. Sometimes tell you no. That's how that goes. Let's get to some news. I think probably the main bit of news is that we released update 73.2 this week, and that brought with it our newest Tavern Tales quest, covered Culvert. That's what we'll be running here today. You can find it basically near the entrance to Chanticleer, if you know where that is, in the marketplace. And it's a level 4 quest on Heroic and 35 on Legendary difficulty. And then we have one more quest in the Tavern Tales bundle that's going to be released here, not next week, but the week after. That's Sleeping with the Fishes. And that's going to be level 3 Heroic, 35 Legendary. And that is actually near Aramond de Lyrandar and the Lower Harbor, near where you arrive from Korthos Island. So, low-level quest here that is part of this quest pack bundle that you can either get individually, each quest individually, or you can just buy the bundle, and it's free to VIPs. The other big thing, we talked about this last week, did we not? But it's all up there now and ready to get put up on the screen, so let's do that. I mentioned that the VIP Loyalty Reward Program, Year 2, is now available. So, for those of you who have picked up every reward available to you, to date, Year 2 will unlock starting June 1st. And this is the Year 2 chart. 500 DDO store points, VIP bag of many things, character slot, you can read it here. There's a Red Dragon cosmetic armor and a Red Guard Drake mount to round things out in month 24. We have also made an adjustment to the Artisan's Advantage that'll be easier to read here. We're also updating the VIP bag of many things. So if you have a VIP bag of many things in your inventory and you wait until our next game update to open it, you'll get the updated stuff too. But you have to wait because if you open it right now, it can only offer you what it can offer you. It's going to be getting 3 Jeweler's Toolkits, 3 Sentience Toolkits, and 5 Greater Slayer Boost Potions. We're also increasing the amount of Glamour Dust received from 50 to 80. And so if you got one in your inventory, just maybe hang on to it for now. Till the next game update, which won't be too long from now. We're also adding an uncommon crafting material to the VIP Artisan's Advantage per the feedback we've received from you about that. And I think that that's really all I need to mention here, other than we do have a couple of pictures. These are work-in-progress pictures. The Red Dragon cosmetic armor is more solid, and the mount is a little more conceptual yet. We have work to do on the saddle and things, I know for sure. So that's why it has work-in-progress in the text on it. But nonetheless, this is generally what it's going to look like when it gets here. And you can get this info on TDO.com. I would point out quick, this is an Autos box sale period, just kicked off yesterday. You can get heroic, epic, and improved Autos boxes through May 11th. So you maybe want to jump on that if you're interested. A couple of bits of business news. Sorry to say we had to close Toil and Trouble due to a bug with one of the NPCs not providing completion of the quest. But that'll be fixed with our next game update. The other big thing is that this week we opened Cormier to everyone. We talked about this last week, and if you're watching this, you probably already know. So I'm not going to get into it too much here, but we opened Cormier to everyone. So if you're interested, now is an opportunity to do that. We're going to have more information about transfers to Cormier and ultimately from Cormier too, as we get closer to the 64-bit server launch. I don't have more information for you today on the timing of that. We're still looking for as soon as we can, and it'll be later this year. And we still have engineering work to do. We have to test more of that work, and then we've got to write up our process and figure everything out. So it'll be a little while yet before we're ready to announce timing for our 64-bit game worlds. When we do that, we'll have more information about transfers to and from Cormier at that time. But for now, it's open to everyone. Welcome back or welcome, depending on you. I think I have now covered the news, other than we do have an XP boost going on. Through May 4th, you get 10% XP for every member in your party, not raid group. And there we go. Oh, we're also going to open Mark of Death with the next game update. Let me see if I can see where we landed on the timing of that. While I do that, I can take a look at Twitch chat. Yeah, I don't really have information on when the next game update is yet. It'll be presumably before update 74, though. But it looks like we haven't penciled something in yet. Okay. Let me take a look at chat. It is true. So Jacques has mentioned a note with the cloud mount bug, which is the current VIP loyalty reward item. And you're right. I'll get to that in just a second. But there's a couple of bugs about there that we can do. Is the timing of the 64-bit transfers currently still within Q2 as originally announced? It could be. Could be. We'll have more information on timing soon, but it's just... It could be. It could maybe be questionable there. But we'll see. We'll see where we land. If you didn't pick up all of last year's prizes, what happened? So the VIP Loyalty Reward Program is a login reward program that lets VIPs get a gift every month for logging in. So if you don't log in, you'll continue your progress through the track, but you'll get next, whatever the next is on the VIP Loyalty Reward Program track. So, for example, if last month you picked up Reward 4, you'll get Reward 5. If last time it was 12, you'll get 13, which is actually where people are right now. And then in 13 right now is the Cloud Mountain. You'll get 14 in June if you've picked up everything. But it'll keep your progress, and it preserves your progress between VIP subscription times as well. So if you play for a while, unsubscribe, and then resubscribe, it'll preserve your progress along the track. When can we see the Dampier via Lamania server? I would think this summer sounds like a pretty good time frame for that. All right. Well, there we go. Let me actually head in game here and maybe run the new quest. Oh, a shout out to Voodoo Spice for his front page on Twitch this week. That was really exciting and that was really fun. And we were lucky to be able to not only have him be featured on Twitch's front page on the day of our patch and game update and launch of Cormier, but we were able to give him a special coupon code for that live stream to motivate some Twitch viewers to perhaps sign up for the game. And it went really well for everyone involved, I think. I don't know, Voodoo, did you hit your 2K mark? I don't know if you hit your 2K mark, but you were within a viewer or two of hitting that 2K mark when I was watching. And so that was an amazing, amazing concurrency to hit there on the Twitch front page and see a whole bunch of people, either past players who were like, oh, wow, DDO, or existing players, or just people who don't play the game who are like, what's this? And it was a really good day. So that was fun on Wednesday. And I think if further opportunity for either Voodoo or other people come about to be featured on Twitch's front page, this gives us some good community side ammunition to be able to push for some things like coupon codes and things like that. So we can kind of prove it out a little bit, if you know what I mean. So good times. All right, so we're going to go into the covered Culvert. Try saying that 5 times fast. And run this. Now, I'm over level, so it's a little weird that I'm running this over level, but I'm kind of just running my character that just hit level 14 here on Cormier, and I'm going to hit level 20, and then I'm going to reincarnate into a Dragon Disciple. That is the plan for this character. Twitch drops is something I want to do too. Twitch drops I can be less confident about, because the main hang up with Twitch drops is it requires integration of the Twitch API into your game engine, and that requires an engineering task that is difficult to be able to prioritize given other priorities, such as, why don't you fix lag? And we need to open up 64-bit game worlds. So the ability of that to actually happen under any kind of time frame I can think of right now is just kind of no. But there are some things that we can do and have done, and like we were able to create that special coupon code for Voodoo and prove that out as a possibility for others in the future, perhaps, of if they were to get featured, say, on Twitch's front page, we can put together, something like hey, this is what we can do for you, and make that happen, and that's really cool. So
this page is covered with dense, illegible scrolls.
I really like that we're heading back into the sewers of the harbor here, because this has been, a part of the game for a very long time. And you've always known that these sewers, there's actually some really cool kind of lore in the story, frankly, with the sewers of Stormreach here, where there's just large, unexplored areas of it. We have X amount of it in the game, but the actual sewers themselves go back to the city's existence as really a giant haven. And there are parts of it that are just simply unexplored. Maybe not entirely like some of the old parts of New York City's sewer system or something like that. It's kind of neat in terms of the lore. But so we were able to bring it and do that here for this quest, and it was neat to see us make that decision. I can't remember if there's not a third one here, right? Yeah. Did you miss any news? I don't know if I've really said a lot of news because I think a lot of what we've seen it happened this week. I would point out on the Stormcloud mount that there is a couple of bugs we're working on. The biggest one is that right now, and this will get corrected, no problem, but right now, you can only get it on one world. And when you try to redeem the mount on other worlds, the issue is one of really a dialogue tree, which is that the NPC just doesn't know how to give it to you again. And because we're utilizing a one per account certificate method for this one, it's not really smart enough to work within the other mount system that we have. So I think basically that's the solution is we're going to do that, add it to the mount dialogue, and then just let you do that through the NPC. Well, there was a hang up somewhere in its logic flow, and so what's happening is you're redeeming it fine, and you're getting it on the one world, but then when you switch to another world, there's no kind of mechanism by which to grant it to you. And so we're having a problem with that right now. But and then the other bit that you should know about is it's not showing up the right icon, and that's unfortunate. But it's not showing up with the right icon. It's showing up as a horse.
You found another locked door.
So
This one's for
it is not, in fact, a horse. I'm not worrying about these traps because of my over-leveledness. Yeah, so that is a login issue specifically, where it's showing up as a flying carpet to your client, and then everyone else is seeing the regular cloud mount. That can be solved, though, by just resummoning it. That's an initial login issue where it's not applying the right skin for some reason on login. But that can be solved just by pushing the button. But yes, it is a bug as well. That's true. Maybe it is a horse. It's just, or it's a horse that is temporarily disguised as a cloud, polymorphed or something. And we're just seeing its true form in the icon panel. Hey, can't touch this. Nice to see you. Oh, really? Okay, well, Onadir is telling me there is, in fact, another method by which it shows up, it doesn't show up.
The purple door grinds open. A sudden whiff of
Either way, the
fragrance
cause
in
is
the air
probably the same, and the
suggests
fix
you
will be
may
the same.
have opened a way to the surface.
Yeah, it'll be real fun to see everyone. Nymphin, Voodoo Spice, and whoever else is going to be attending as well. Before I go to the end, I'm actually going to go back and catch this other section that I missed. And by the way, these secret doors are maybe not favorable to your health, which is why I'm not opening them. But we can do the optional.
You spot the familiar outline of a treasure chest through the sealed gate. Surely there must be a way to get to it.
There is. There is. Where's the levers? The levers are. There we go. There's one more too after this. Go. Oh, not quite. Must be a third. Okay. So that was number 2. Do I see a number 3? No? Oh, maybe it's up above. Must be up above. Yep. There we go. Secular squirrel. I love weird. I do love weird, so I can approve of this absolutely nightmare fuel idea for a mount that you've come up with. Other than to say, there ain't no way I ain't ever spawning that. Nope. Oh, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. Probably shouldn't have done that either. What did I do, though? Oh, here we go. There's our chest. Make you work for it. Alright, now we will go back and wrap up the quest here. I would think the idea... I mean, clearly it's going to be a little tricky to pull off a squid attack, because you would be looking at something like underwater combat and a creature that would have sort of a grab attack and other things. So I think from a technical level, it's probably not, certainly not the easiest project in the world. But not impossible either. We might have to sort of consider how best to present it and things. But I think as a general concept, it's certainly something we could do.
At the bottom of this immense sinkhole stands a druid. When he spots you, he breaks off his insane rant to attack. When the druid collapses in defeat, the swarm loses its cohesion, dispersing into holes and crannies in the walls.
Alright.
Crews can now return in safety.
Got the druid item. Wisdom,
never-ending task
druidic stone
of
shape,
making the
insightful
storm-raged
con.
sewers a slightly better place.
Blue and moon augment, min level 4. Wrist slot 1. Not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah. I mean, for a min level 4 item, that's certainly a pretty good number of things to have. Not that I'm a druid, but I'll take it. A squid attack would be super fun. Perhaps you could do some kind of Kraken battle, though, where you would have, you know, tentacles punching through walls, because we've done things kind of like that before, and there might be ways you could do it. But if you were talking about squid, you know, squid are real big, but it would be a different sort of battle there. Alright, well, let us run this game. Yes, the One Quest Toil and Trouble had to be temporarily closed this week because we ran into an issue with the NPC. Now, what's funny is I actually ran that quest post-patch before I saw all that forum feedback and somehow managed to complete it. So I don't quite know how I was able to complete it, but yet when we were reproing it, we pretty consistently got that repro and thus closed the quest. But
Secured with a green lock.
nonetheless, at some point
Surely
after
there must
patch,
be
I
a way to
was in
open it
fact able to
nearby.
complete it. I think the issue might be like order of operation of talking to the NPC or something. But regardless, we're going to get it. We know what the problem is, and we're going to get it fixed. So.
This page is covered with dense, illegible scrolls. From what you can make out, whoever wrote it is completely out of touch with reality.
Yeah, this is the brand new quest for this week, and we will get Toil and Trouble opened up with our next game
A
update.
nearby gate squeals open when the lever is pulled.
Oh, I want that second. Yeah, I think and pretty soon I could have actually swapped to. Oh, maybe I should have. I missed something, didn't I? Okay, well let's try that again. What did I miss? Oh, there we go. This year during the charity event, would it be within my ability to put a Curse of Divine Fortune on your Keeper of the Crimson Covenant dagger? Probably. In that I don't give out items like that, even on an admin character or officially. That would not generally be the kind of thing that I'm able to offer. I have like some items from the community loot list and that I can give out. And we have other things too, but handing out special loot or crafting people nice stuff, no. In fact, I can't do that. Technically, I could. Ethically, I would never. So all the new quests should be open, question mark. The final quest in the Tavern Tales series debuts on May 14th. And after that, all 3 of the quests from the Tavern Tales bundle will be available. And then we have the free quest as well that came out, which is the 4th quest. So that's where we are at. It is, I mean, it's not really... So, I noticed, actually, Druid's Fire on the Lord of the Rings online side today, as a matter of fact, is doing a big charity stream for Extra Life. And some others are, too, already for Extra Life that I've seen, both on the DDO and Lord of the Rings online side. So the answer is, yeah, we do have people already raising funds for Extra Life, but our charity stream is always in November, at least for many years now. It's been November, and that's really when we do our push. A lot of the work I need to do to get people incentives and things happens in real time by me mailing people codes and such, and that's not really something I could support year-round. But anytime you want to donate this year, just send in that survey whenever the time comes and you'll get your stuff.
Purple door grinds open.
Yeah, fun, can't touch this. Nice to see you here.
Freshness in the air suggests you may have opened a way to the surface.
But no, the Dino quest is Toil and Trouble, right? And Toil and Trouble is deliberately shut off because of a bug.
At the bottom of this immense sinkhole stands a druid. When he spots you, he breaks off his...
And that happened this week with the patch. So we had to temporarily shutter it. It'll be fixed in the next patch.
The swarm loses its cohesion, dispersing into holes and crannies in the walls. The cleaning crews can now return in safety.
Oh, nice. It did Voodoo Spice cross 2K? I'm really glad to hear that. That's cool. That's cool. Oh, Toilet's the Hag quest? Well, okay. Well, it should be working then. Oop, I don't want to reroll. What? Well. Yeah, well, we can solve this problem by just running it, can't we? Let's do that. Let's see if it works. Secular is suggesting an update to the deck of many curses. Make it so the curse of the sentience meal cannot end up on an item that can't be fed to a sentient weapon. Yeah, okay. I mean, maybe the solution there is not to have that difficult, doesn't work very edge casey thing. And we don't want that. I would say just be careful about where you place it. Because I think that that's probably just an edge case in the system. I'm not even sure how you would stop that from happening. Without, like, forever excluding it on an individual basis at the item database level. And that doesn't sound too plausible. Well, yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine, I say. When have I ever gone on a live stream and died a whole bunch because I thought the quest was going to be easier than it turned out to be? That doesn't happen. More than once a week, anyway. I thought I had a... I need to get some of my permanent hirelings out of retirement here. They've just been sitting in storage for a while. Or maybe I need to claim them from the NPCs. Alright, well, Scarecrow, you can go on RAR mode. And Cleric, you stick over to me.
You step out of the camp. From deeper in the wilderness, you can hear high-pitched shrieks and deep roars. The dinosaur horde must be nearby.
Well, usually when I'm not on stream, I'm pretty smart about knowing what I can and can't do, and I'm just playing on my own, but I can also just slow down and not really try to do anything. I don't know, I can just sort of take it easy and not worry about it in some ways. And so, I do. And that tends to mean I'll die less. But I should be able to handle this out. I say, as I die to a comet fall. Okay. Well, as you can see, I definitely was able to get into the quest. That's not to minimize your situation, but that is to say, so far so good on being able to enter the quest. And see if we can complete it. It's true. How did I? I did die in Baudry's only breaking boxes because I went in and got killed by something or other. Gosh, what was that now? That was good. That was good. I will take that honor. As long as I can kite okay, though. Should be relatively fine on this Warlock. It could be. Could have been. Well, no, I think it was... Actually, wasn't it a Lanterns in the Mist? Like a Mist Stalker that killed me in Boundaries? Is that what it was? I think so. A card of curse cleansing for every standard saga completion, huh? Would certainly get you a large opportunity to swap out your cursed items, wouldn't it? I don't know that there would be an intention to offer that level of access to cards of curse cleansing. You know, it's, as we discussed way back in the day, the power level of the item is balanced in part against a somewhat inflexible application design. And that's deliberate and by design. You aren't supposed to have a maximized card set. Not that you can't, but we definitely don't want to make it too easy. I don't have any further clarity on the specifics of how guild server transfer will work. In general, what we want to be able to do is preserve your guild name, your guild level, your leader and successor, that kind of thing, and be able to carry that in data form during the transfer, whether that's through, say, an item or virtual item in your inventory, or through some other method, you know, the engineers are currently developing and testing. And I'll have that information for you about how it'll work to the end user side when we're ready to go with it. But in general, the idea is to preserve your membership. I can tell you the way it works on the Lord of the Rings online side is that information is stored with the kinship. They call them kinships rather than guilds over there. And it's stored with the kinship leader. And as a result of that, say a kinship leader will transfer, everyone will be disbanded from their kinship and such. Well, they won't be disbanded, they're preserved. But from the end user side, you're no longer there. And then if they join the new guild on the new server, it just shows up and they get all their stuff back and bang. And it works. It's been doing that way for a long time now. So in general, it would be a system similar to that would be used for guild transfer. We'll see where we end up, of course, but probably something along those lines. And the same would be true for creature companions and mounts. That in whatever form it's going to take, the game will take a snapshot of your account grants on server A, keep that in some preserved form through the transfer process, and then reapply it on the other side. And I have heard the intention is to do that with Astral Shard balances as well. The tricky part there, and the reason we don't want to commit too much at this point, is because we don't know how it's all going to test. And trying to have multiple servers all consolidate is a question as well. So we'll see where we end up, but that's the plan at the moment. Really? Secular Squirrel wants a light weapon that can be treated as a favored weapon, but there is not a suitable weapon for the build.
You've dispatched another group of dinosaurs.
I would have thought that we'd have
terrifying
plentiful
orc
opportunity
nearby makes
to
it clear that
select
the
favored
battle
light
is not
weapons,
yet
but I guess I really haven't looked into it, nor is my knowledge deep enough to just know what you should be using, but I would think you could find something. Some good recommendations for dining out in the convention area for 4 days. Well, my recommendation is going to vary strongly based on what you consider convention area. I think the reality is right next to the convention center, and as is often the case with a lot of convention centers, the food is both expensive and maybe not particularly exceptional. It's fine. It's good. You won't go hungry, but you will pay $8 for a slice of pizza or something like that. So I think there's some bars, and I think they even bars that have food, including Harpoon, near the convention center itself. But I think I would take a little bit of a walk or a quick train ride. What I will be doing most likely, because I absolutely love this part of town, is I will go to the part called Chinatown. You can just take the uh, subway straight from the convention center right into the heart of Chinatown at the Chinatown stop. I think technically you hook up from Silver Line to Green and then Green to Chinatown or something, but it's quick. It's like 5 minutes away. And in Chinatown, you've got more great, amazing food than you could ever possibly eat in a month. So just pick the place that looks cool or smells the best and go for it. And you won't go wrong. Oh. No. Oh, no. Well, okay, let me get some potions up.
You pause to savor your victory, but are instantly interrupted by a deep, booming voice.
What's this? What's happened to my army?
Remove deities from favored weapons. Well, it kind of goes against the whole point of it being a favored weapon, doesn't it? I mean, isn't that the whole point of a favored weapon, is it's favored by the god or whatever? I'm just saying. It's like right there in the name.
Regina offers her thanks for defeating the dinosaur horde, as well as a chest full of rewards.
So I'm actually currently wearing the Crisis monk outfit on this character because I think it's pretty good. It happens to work with what I am building. Because remember, this is the first run character, so natural armor, quality fort, not bad, and that's what I'm using right now. But now I've got the light version of that too, which cool. That'll be good. Probably swap over to that. Oh, there are no Forgotten Realms light weapon options for favored weapons. Is there a reason for that? Well, it's probably just one of choice. You know, having to pick favored weapons for various deities, and light weapons, maybe particularly at that time, either being covered elsewhere or not in favor. But that does sound like something we could perhaps get to. Yeah, it's like a new deity for the Shatter Kai with a light weapon, or, you know, figure something out. There's probably several options that we could use for light weapons. But yeah, you could even make, I mean, technically isn't dagger a light weapon? So. My other recommendation on Chinatown food for downtown Boston is it's relatively affordable. There's amazing, great food, like, say, over in the North End, which is a more Italian focused cultural district, and you'll have the best Italian food of your life there, but you will pay for it. But yeah, that's about what I recommend. What I really recommend is join us Friday, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern at Harpoon. We're going to have pepperoni pizza, and we're going to have cheese pizza, and we got some kind of like wrapped buffalo chicken tenders or something like that, and a couple other things too for food. So we've got food pretty well covered. There's a gluten-free option. I can't think of what it is now. Sickle. Yeah, Sickle would be good too. Well, that actually worked out pretty good. I think I'm going to maybe run that again to wrap up the show. I was going to say light mace. You could potentially do a follower of Arion, right? A follower of Arion getting a light mace or something like that. But not that light maces are particularly meta. But you know, all those light mace builds. Where did my scarecrow guy go? Why do I not see? Here we go. Um, I am not understanding your question, Dark Wolfer. I think we've been pretty clear about how the Dragon Disciple bundle will be repriced come the correction of the bug, which is having us roll it out early. And so if that's what you're talking about and saying, will that be retroactive? The answer is no. I'm also not aware really of what you're talking about, to be honest. I'm not piecing the pieces together. But we would not be we are unlikely to be retroactively granting access to things that I'm aware of. You would like to name your Drake Kendrick? Is there a way to do that? I don't think so, actually. I don't think so. So I think that's on the prohibited words list, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not quite understanding what you're asking about. Granting of expansions. Typically, I'm not aware of us doing any changes, however, to anything that we've been offering in regard to kind of expansion offerings. So however we've been doing it is likely how we will be doing it. Oh, that's true. Kendrake. You could rename it Kendrake. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You may notice that I used my free points to pay for a pet rename based on last week's community suggestion, which was an amazing one. So I was an idiot and renamed this purple creature companion Paisley Park for obvious reasons. And then someone in Twitch chat said, "Oh, you know what you should have called it? You should have called it Paisley Bark." And I was like, "Oh no, you're right. Oh no, I can't live with this wrongly named pet." So I had to go to the store and buy a pet rename so I could rename the creature companion to Paisley Bark. Yeah. Because that is the greatest possible name for this creature companion. Not that Kendrake isn't good though. That's real good. So when a new X-Pack comes out with a race, the iconic is that race basically. Feywild was Shifter, iconic was Shifter Barbarian. Sure, that's correct. Often if we're going to do the work to do a base race, it would make sense to have our iconic that would be in that expansion associated with the content that we're creating it against, right? So whether it's a class or race, it'll be whatever's the new thing in the expansion in general. And you're saying about could we... But there are races who never got an iconic. Sure. And that would probably be because at that time we were doing something else. Yeah, not all races are intended to have an iconic. It's in our tools of our toolbox, but it's not really something that we're intending to make mandatory, as it were, in terms of system development. We will often go that route, as you state, especially if we're doing a race and an iconic, or a race for an expansion. Which I think has been the case for some time. But we haven't we already also done I'm trying to think now if we've ever done a class with an expansion. I guess we haven't, now that I think about it. Not since the old monk with Menace or whatever. Or no, monk was even its own thing. A Duragar iconic dwarf would definitely be on a shorter list of things that we could do. That's been a suggestion for a very long time and would be highly appropriate for Dungeons & Dragons Online. I would think. If we were to do a Duragar or any kind of dwarf sub-race sort of thing, kinda, it would make sense. Yeah, that's right. Archetypes is what we've done. Is Lemordia on schedule for October of this year, or question mark? It is on schedule. I am not going to be able to really speak more about the timing of it, not until we're closer to it, but yeah, I have not heard of anything saying that Lemordia is not ready to keep rocking, so. It's true, a Dwarven Battle Rager iconic would also be a very excellent choice. It would be. And as you state, it's very iconic to the campaign, to the Dungeons & Dragons tabletop game, so doing that in DDO would make a lot of sense. However, I would also state that, you know, what has been one of the most popular builds in the history of the game are like Frenzied Berserkers and stuff. And so how is it that would you do a Dwarven Battle Rager perhaps in a way that would make it exciting versus other mechanical options that you could do with things you might release? Not that there's complete overlap, but there's certainly some overlap there, and I think our Frenzied Berserkers are doing pretty good already. Nope, nothing to announce in terms of pre-sale dating. I love that idea though of a Dwarven Battle Rager. That we could make that work. We could make that work.
Another group of dinosaurs.
That's a good question. I can't speak to the lore either, as we may be licensed with Zolkir Jax. That's something that I don't have granular knowledge on. Our the content development team, Knockback and crew in particular, are going to be able to would know the answer to that question, which is, you know, can Victor and Adam and such, you know, how do they fit within this version of what we're doing versus what's been done on the tabletop campaign? So I'm not going to answer that question right now, but I would say that you'll learn more soon enough on it. Well, Battle Ragers use their armor as a weapon, so maybe a physical damage typed aura burst attack that scales with melee power like a dragon. Yeah, see, but then again, it's kind of what you just described, isn't it? I don't know that we're breaking too much new ground there in terms of gameplay. But the idea of it, yeah. Ooh, I would love. Yeah, you're right. The classic Eberonian halflings on dinosaurs would be pretty darn sweet too, wouldn't it? Heck yeah, some kind of animal rider style. That would be sweet. I want that. I think we've been pretty good, though, Dark Wolfer. I mean, you're right that eventually everything's been done, kind of, but I think we've still been able to release archetypes and classes, and we still have lots of territory that we could mine in regard to archetypes and class options and things like that. So, no real worries on my part there.
But are instantly interrupted by a deep, booming voice.
What's this? What happened to my army?
Psionics, you know Severlin's a fan of Psionics and has been wanting Psionics for a very long time. Githyanki, another one that would be real sweet to do, although I think we've kind of heard you loud and clear on elves for a while. But we'll see.
With him dies his mad plan to attack
Maybe Githyanki's different enough.
Army. Time to tell Regina that the threat is over. Regina offers her thanks for defeating the dinosaur horde. As well,
But yeah, like a Duragar Battle Rager does sound like a real sweet, iconic. This would be cooler if I didn't already have it. I already have one of these from this quest. I'm currently sitting on a couple of these solar gems here. Which ones? Yeah, I've got the +2 artifact to dexterity, tactical DCs, and that I'm currently on my gi. I've got the spell power on there. Nope, no word on pre-sale for Lamordia. Why didn't DDO do psychic damage to start? Do they want to avoid subdual damage like they avoided low dark vision? I think probably originally back in 2005 it was simply a matter of scope creep. We need to launch the game and we can't do everything, so Psionics is a no. But if I recall also, Psionics has always been a somewhat, I don't want to say controversial exactly, but not controversial either, part of the tabletop rule set. And that how in a gameplay fashion does it make the table more fun, and how does it differentiate from just another spellcaster or otherwise overly mimic a spellcaster, all these other things. And then the rule set itself has done various things with Psionics over the years to different levels of success. So and then translating that into DDO successfully, how do you take what's essentially a different kind of spellcaster system and make it not feel like a spell system, but also feel like a psionic set and what have you. And there have been plenty of ideas about that over the years as well. But I just don't think it's ever come together in addition to the right content to launch it with in a way that's made it next. But I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't someday. Yeah, I would think getting Knockback on the show is definitely something we could do. That's going to wrap it up with Fridays at 4. I will see you in 2 weeks because I'm going to be at PAX East next week. If you're going to be there, hey, if you see me, say hello. Love to say hello to you as well. And otherwise, hope you're enjoying the new quest, the new content, the new game update, the bonus XP this weekend, and more. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.